Phoenix Rising with a 4-0 victory, but we can't get too high about it yet because what's that around the corner? An old friend returns. Find out tonight at the PHNX Rising Podcast. Hey. You see it all here, folks. Welcome in to the PHNX Rising Podcast, coming to you live from that place right there, Studio K, presented by our friends over at Circle K. Go on in to any of the valid locations, really anywhere in Arizona, really anywhere Circle K is, which is everywhere and everywhere, and go ahead and pick up a nice little Polar Pop and enjoy yourself. Have a good time, cool off. It's fall. It's here. Enjoy yourself, Circle K. Shout out everyone here for joining us. We got Reese. We got Lee. You're darn right.
We got Reese. Reese is over there as well.
Also in the chat. Wow, we are on time. You're darn right. We're on time because producer Kyle runs a tight ship, but I am Max Simpson, and I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Owain, the Oracle Evans. What's up, buddy?
Hello.
How we doing?
Yeah, it's today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Today.
It sure is. Well, listen, hope you guys like a jam-packed show. That's exactly
already in with a 5-0.
That's exactly what you're. Goodness gracious, that's exactly what you're gonna get. Yes, fact, with the score prediction, he's ahead of things. But we got a lot to get through. We have first off, yes, as producer Kyle reminds us, with just a lovely little photo there. We need to get that photo updated.
Leave a like, Max.
We need to get that photo updated. Yeah, someone clip that. Someone clip that. That way there you go. That's a new clip. There we go. Yes, we got leave a like on the way in here. Got a lot to talk to, right? We're gonna do a deeper dive review of Rising's thrashing, shellacking, throttling. It's a lot of different synonyms you can use of San Antonio FC over the weekend. We're then going to give you a
Why sound so violent with those, Max?
They're just synonyms, man. I'm just a thesaurus.
Fair enough.
My favorite dinosaur. Then we're going to do a deep dive preview of Phoenix Rising versus Orange County, which is tomorrow, right? You got a little review preview show. And then, got some Rising news. Going to round it out with the nonsense. You know how we do. But let's get into it.
Phoenix Rising. Always nonsense.
I mean, of course. Again, a lot to get through today, but hey, Phoenix Rising versus San Antonio FC. Again, 4-0. Again, kind of after the fact, right? I think we were very much united in the fact of it was oh gosh, I'm trying not to misquote you, but right, this was
the most clinical they've been.
This was the most clinical they have been, and this was a controlling performance by Rising, but where I said it was dominating, did not hold to.
I didn't say it wasn't dominating. I said I felt it was a bit I didn't think it was right to say it was the most dominant, because I think we've seen a team that has gone out and controlled games in the past this season where they often haven't done. They haven't been quite as clinical. And there have been one or two games where they have been. Yeah. I still think, again, I'll always pull it up, is Rhode Island to me was in the earlier part of the season probably the best performance they put in, right? Because even the one goal against came in a very awkward kind of. It was one of those. I mean, it was a 6-second indirect free kick. Who gives 6-second indirect free kicks?
But I think
seriously, that's what happened. It was an indirect free kick inside the penalty area.
That actually was kind of crazy. I guess this is maybe where we differ in. I think even if that was, it was on the road, it was cross country, maybe the scope of it was, and it was also early in the season. You didn't necessarily know what Rhode Island was, even though you kind of had an idea. I think this is maybe where I go back to. I'm not even as much concerned about the score line in that one. I just think this was the most, even if it wasn't maybe the most clinical Rising could be, I think this is the most front foot that they have been all season. And to me, I don't really know if I'm really trying to think of an argument that you can make, because that was very much, It's just what they did, man.
I think the San Antonio just collapsed after, again, it's the kind of thing where you get that first goal earlier on in the game.
But even still, how many times have we seen this club not kill off games? How many times have we, I mean, listen, again, say what you want about the fourth goal and all that stuff. I get it. But like, even there was no point, especially after the first goal, where you did not feel, okay, Rising kind of broke their will a bit. And what I'm trying to get at
until the second goal. I think at the second goal, you kind of assume at that point game's over, effectively.
100%. That's totally fair. I'm saying that I think there was enough within that first portion before the second goal was scored to showcase that, as Reese is throwing things out here, that there is enough going on from an attacking standpoint to at least come away from this match happy. Again, what the conversation is this carrying over?
No, because see, again, that's actually where I disagree on with the second goal, right? The idea, they had a lot of ball. They had a lot of the territory as well, okay? But how many times have we seen that when this team hasn't put things away? The idea, I think, that they were forcing San Antonio to really, really, really feel on the back foot in a way they haven't done to other opponents before. It's not necessarily something I think holds true. The difference there is that once they got that second goal, obviously at that point, realistically, San Antonio weren't coming back. In the second half, they come out. They do take advantage of, again, I think some poor defending at moments. The fourth goal in particular is really, really poorly defended.
Sure.
Okay. But how many times have we seen those moments whereby, again, you look at that expected goals count of 1.4. How many times have we seen Rising put up maybe even a number close to that? Maybe a 0.9, let's say. Say a 0.9.
And even only
come away with nothing. Come away with nothing.
100%.
No. How many times have we seen that? So to me...
Very much so.
This is really a story of a team that was just really clinical. San Antonio keeper being atrocious also really helped with that.
I don't disagree.
But this team, and as well, right, the very nature of these things, you get the goal when you do, it helps you. The bigger question here, if Pat Mudboy doesn't score in that moment, say that's saved.
Sure.
Right? I think Phoenix Rising still go on to win because of the nature of it, but it's not going to look anything like the 4-0. I think they make more of a slog of it.
I don't completely disagree, but again, this is where I go back to, like, this is to me regardless of scoreline. This is regardless of what the stats tell you. And I do agree with Benito's Blue, where Diego did his homework on San Antonio, though very much learned from his first match in charge as the interim head coach, right? Very much a good rebound. I go back to, if you're looking at the eye test from this, I look at it from more so of the standpoint, you can very much blame that San Antonio's attack was not there, right? Yep. That was also due to Rising. That they had a very well executed game plan, and they were very intentional. If we were going to play a high line, you were going to have to beat us over the top with an inch perfect ball, and provided one or two that maybe could have been something. They were all, I wouldn't even say they're half chances. San Antonio maybe had quarter chances here and there. It never really went to anything. Now, maybe on a different day, if San Antonio is a bit more clinical, do they threaten? Is this game different? Sure. But I kind of look at this as this match was played so much, it felt like, in San Antonio's half that they never offered anything offensively. So the only result of this match was going to be one of two things. Either it's going to be a 0-0 draw because San Antonio never seemed to threaten anything, or what we saw play out was there was enough pressure to have Rising convert, and they were clinical enough to make things happen. Now, again, San Antonio had a very poor performance going forward. You cannot expect that from everyone, and you cannot expect that moving forward. What I am saying is, if we're looking at the context of that match, I saw something from an offensive standpoint, and from that standpoint, regardless of the 4-0 scoreline, that I was more encouraged by Rising going forward than I had seen really at any other point this season. And I do stand by that.
So what then was the difference in that?
I think it was more so, right, you did see a lot of the crossfield switching. And I mean, I'm not saying that's even due to it, but I think what you saw is they were much more willing to play some of those through balls. They varied their approach. If there was a bit more in the air, there was a bit more, into the corners and things like that. And even if they didn't always come off, what I think we have been so witness to this team being is, we're going to dink it around the midfield. We're going to try to play in a feed. We're never going to really challenge vertically. And what you have seen, what you've heard from this coaching staff is there is a bit of intention in trying to play vertical, and it's not their identity, but I think we saw a bit more of it. Even if it didn't always come off, I think it was different.
I think it is increasingly becoming their identity. That's the thing here, is that this team came into this season and said they wanted to play more vertically. This isn't something that's come about the last few weeks. The difference the last few weeks has been they've actually got some of the players needed to actually play that way. When they went into this season, you didn't have a guy like Jearl Margaritha there. You didn't have someone maybe like Charlie Dennis in the midfield who could fill those kind of roles and help you to play in a more vertical manner. Those people weren't available to you. I mean, you were in a position where it just wasn't really happening. And so, yeah, I think that's been a large part of it. I also agree with you in terms of the switches, but the key thing with the switches, again, and this is an important bit if you're switching from one flank to the other, is that they were doing them in the last game in transitional moments. They were doing them when they were moving down the field with pace. They were doing them in a quicker tempo kind of game. This team has historically switched from side to side, but they do so normally in a methodical, slow, pass it around, and kind of wait. You're poking around the edge of the penalty area and you're hoping that something eventually is going to create
an isolation or an overload.
Again, it feels like I'm on repeat here constantly with this one. But the thing that we've seen with this team repeatedly over the course of the season has been that when they slow that play down, when they find themselves in that point where they're kind of passing it around the side to side, side to side. Well, it's more that the options never come about, okay? They never really come up with the opportunity there in the first place. I feel as though this is a team that just doesn't have quite the incisiveness, the creativity at times to find ways to create opportunities from those slower burn kind of possessive phases. They don't find ways to create a whole lot out of that, okay?
That's fair.
And they struggle with set pieces as well, and I think the set piece delivery was better in the last game.
It's a lot better.
Also a big improvement in terms of just how they approach these games and actually ways to find scoring opportunities even out of those slower burnt possessions, right? Because it's not that they couldn't win corners or say, something like that from those slower burnt possessions. They just couldn't really threaten the goalkeepers very well. But if you can find ways to win corners now, and the corners are better than they were earlier in the season, suddenly you've got another outlet there. So it's not as though once things slow down, it feels like a wasted possession.
Yeah. No, I mean, and right, you're kind of noting two of the players, right, that you mentioned, Charlie Dennis. And again, also if we're looking at by the numbers overall, right, I mean, Rising, they had more XG, 10-1 shots on target. Reese apparently says they have 198 total shots, San Antonio, if he's looking at his chart. You see this right here, Owen?
19-8.
No, look, it says 198.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty wild.
Apparently.
Wow, we can't count hot dogs. Can't count hot dogs. Can't count shots. And then double the chance, more than double the chances created. Charlie Dennis, the key kind of catalyst there. 3 chances created, completed 19 of 20 passes attempted in the final third. And again, Pat Marboy, again, you saw him with the goal, won all 6 of his aerial duels. Listen, this is something.
Actually, can I give you one other thing that I think actually went?
You're not going to.
Just defensively, but just the offside trap for Rising worked quite well.
It did work quite well.
Quite a few times they caught.
There were
offside.
There were. I mean,
and Rising weren't offside once, by the way.
Yeah. No, I mean, right. I see. Kev in the chat said no Fede addition by subtraction. I'm like, right. Again, listen. Whether you are a Fede Varela fan or not, he is a different style than how Rising have been playing. Certainly compared to last game, right? I think you put him in that lineup. I don't know if it is going to be that same type of front foot, type of free flowing attack. He offers you something different. He's maybe that guy where if you have a lead, that's maybe a different person or a different type of flavor to bring on and kind of salt the game away. But if you're looking to go vertical, I mean, we've seen that's just not necessarily what he turns to. So it's again it's different people out there.
There I bring up even more though of these stats, right? Just to kind of underline some of this stuff. Passing accuracy in the final third for Phoenix Rising 80%. Okay. Clinical passing in the final third. You end up in a position whereby duels won, Rising winning 58% of duels over the course of the game. Aerial duels, they completely dominated the air. Rising winning 70% of aerial duels over the course of a game. Those are the kind of things that really build into, right? When you're talking about stifling San Antonio, not really letting them get anything going, okay? Winning those duels, winning those balls in the air, that's a big part of it as well, right? It's one thing to say, well, you've got to force them to play it over the top, but then when they do have to play it over the top, you've got to find ways to win those balls in the air. You've got to find ways to win the balls in the air up top as well for yourselves, which we saw Pat Marboy do off of the one corner, right? You've got to find ways to get involved in those kind of moments, and yes, that helps. That helps a lot. Again, these stats generally paint the picture of a Phoenix Rising team that, again, they were good value for a win. Maybe 4 was a little bit much. Maybe it flatters them a little bit.
Sure.
But San Antonio didn't do enough to score at all.
No,
Phoenix Rising definitely deserved to walk away with 3 points from that game. No questions asked.
I don't disagree. I mean, listen, this is... I think it's knowing the opponent. It's knowing how unclinical they are. It's like, right, again, like you read the stats, 1 shot on target out of 8 shots.
Pitiful.
Very pitiful.
Again, that's also because they're taking poor quality shots.
And they are. You can only play who's in front of you. And I think for as good of a job as Rising's defense did, which they did, and like you mentioned, good offsides trap, caught them off. San Antonio also offer next to nothing. So what do you do in that situation? And to Rising's credit, they were clinical enough to more than get the win. All I'm getting at is we have seen this in similar situations this season where even if defensively it plays out in a relatively similar manner, the scoreline or the attack does not match. How many times have we seen Rising's opponents offer even less than Rising have, and yet this is a 0-0 snooze fest?
Oh yeah.
So many times. And I will give the team credit. They were much better.
They were.
Were they perfect? No. Can they play that way against top teams and win? Your margins are much thinner, but you did more than enough to win. And even if the scoreline is a bit flattering, I still give them the kudos of that was a much more improved game plan and execution. We'll have to see if it works against Orange County.
We will. But here's one thing as well. One other bit that we want to bring up before we move on again.
Yes,
and we spoke about this in the post-game, didn't we, with Tomás Ángel? And obviously not getting on the score sheet again. Yeah. We did have some comments from Diego Gómez in this week's press conference on that. Let's have a listen.
No, I think it's situations where maybe we can find him better and we know each other a little bit better. Also, Marga, him and Darius, they have not played together so many minutes. They have not trained together so many times, so I think there are personal connections that are important in those situations. Other players on the team know him a little bit more, and I think opportunities has been there, and it's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Listen, this is a tough one, man, because there's so much of his movement that we do appreciate. There is so much of what he brings to this and stuff that is not going to show up in the stat sheet, in even, the analytics, the opta, the tracking, that is going to go unnoticed. Even the runs where he's not receiving the ball. There's a lot of good that he does. I very much want to preference that, and I think it is so easy to say, look at your number 9. He has 1 goal, and it's from a penalty. What are we doing? That being said, you have a number 9. He has 1 goal, and it's from a penalty. And unfair or not, you're kind of in that situation. And you could say, oh, yes, it's going to come. The goals are going to come. But there hasn't been enough. This isn't a situation where there are many, many clear-cut chances that he is just fluffing his lines or he's underperforming his XG. I just don't think we're at that point where you can reasonably say that where there's enough body of work. If you're talking about his off-ball contributions, absolutely, he brings a ton to this team, and you can see it if you are watching the game correctly. But if you're looking at just the goal contributions and putting the ball in the back of the net, I'm not trying to be a downer. I don't know if it will come.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? It's one thing I think if we were 7 games into the season and you're having this conversation, it would be harsh, right? But we're 7 games into his loan spell. We have to have this conversation because there's only 7 games left of the regular season. Yep. Okay, I think the big thing here, and I mean, Diego was talking about it of, the teammates will come together. They still need to work on chemistry, still need to work on this, still need to work on that. Okay, fine. However, there's not a whole lot of time to work on those things. Jearl Margaritha's hit the ground running. Okay, that one, I don't know if we expect him to hit the ground running in the way that he has or not. But he has hit the ground running. He's changed this attack. And it's not that Tomás Ángel is necessarily bad, but you still got to, you're right, it's got to be goal contributions. If you're not scoring, you at least need to find a way to get an assist in there, right? Like that's a critical part of all of this. And it's confidence. It is. It's just, again, having another threat, right? You put up 4 against San Antonio, but reminder that for the last 4 games of the season, I mean, you got Vegas as well in there before you even get onto the last 4 games of the season and into the playoffs. You're playing much more difficult teams than San Antonio FC.
You are.
Okay? And so again, Rising's defense may hold well. It may prove that they are really good about finding ways to, keep opponents to low scores. but you have to find ways to increase your own scoring. Now, Bad news below there with Tomás Ángel's movement, pulling a defender, create space for others. Potentially it does, right? But again, part of that also relies on him being a threat when he actually gets chances or being used, right? The idea of someone being a decoy only works insofar as people genuinely think that they're actually a threat.
No,
and
I don't disagree.
The longer he goes without a goal, the longer he goes whereby, and again, even from a confidence position, right? I mean, there are a couple that I'm sure he'd like back. That he'll have felt he could have done better with. But
I mean, you're gonna get picked up by, even if you're not scoring goals. You're not just gonna get left wide open.
It's the nature of I know, but it's also the nature of being a number 9 is that, rightly or wrongly, when you're not finding the back of the net, you're going to be questioned.
Oh,
right?
Not saying he won't. I mean, again, if you're looking at Ben News Bluebird's comment, like, I believe he does pull a defender in space. I think there's part of it as well is, are you seeing his teammates get into the right space? And I think it's a different profile. You look at when Darius Formella has played number 9, when even Remy Cabral, they very much are kind of in that sweet spot between the 6-yard box and kind of getting towards the edge of the 18-yard box. That's typically where they look to hover. That is a very dangerous spot. I'm not saying Tomás Ángel doesn't always go there, but a lot of the times you see him kind of on the edge of the box and looking for that even deeper cutback. And while he might be pulling guys out, that to me is, if your number 9 is consistently going there and not a little bit closer,
he does go deep.
That's where I want to see maybe a little bit closer to goal.
Right, and again, I'll go back to Sacramento a little bit on this. I mean, there was a moment where I'm watching the play and I see Tomás Ángel back pretty much in his own half, and I see Jose Andres Hernandez further up the field than him. Okay? In no world, in the nicest possible way to Jose, in no world do I want Jose Andres Hernandez up in the attack when your number 9, who is a very high pedigree number 9, is much deeper, right?
Yes.
There are ways in here, and I mean, again, you are correct in that. Yeah, you're never gonna have the idea whereby he's not a decoy at all of sorts in terms of just pulling defenders, in terms of forcing people to create space for others. Okay, you're never going to be in a position where that's the case, but that's always going to be most effective when they genuinely fear you. And they genuinely fear you when you're scoring goals.
Well, we will see if we genuinely fear, real quick, let's actually take a look at the table just to make sure, right? Kind of showcase where everything is at. Again, New Mexico at the top, continuing to, cement their lead as that number 1 overall seed. Again, Colorado Springs, Sac, Memphis, and Las Vegas. Through that 2 through 5 spot, 2 points separate them. You could throw in Oakland as well. 40 points for them. 2 through 6 separated by 5 points. Then you got the rest. Phoenix and Orange County rounding out the playoff positions in 7 and 8. Tulsa, San Antonio, Monterey Bay, 9, 10, 11. Again, 7 through 11 is 6 points separating them. Again, 6 points separating 7 through 11, 5 points separating 2 through 6. It is tight, except for, lowly El Paso, who is just kind of floundering there.
A shambles, yeah. And Rising's kind of moved itself into an awkward middle ground now, whereby they are above Orange County and they're kind of that proper step ahead now of the teams that were below them, but they're also probably a bit too far that maybe 6th is in reach, but realistically knowing that the teams above them and their teams are going to drop presumably less points over the course of the season, anything from 5th up is probably a step too far.
Absolutely. Well, listen, we will have to see if Orange County can make some noise and kind of complicate that.
That will change the game.
Yeah, complicate a little bit further. And we'll talk about that on the other side of the break. But first, right, we got to tell you guys about our friends over at Branded Bills. And have you heard of the term what a noogie is? Have you heard of what that is? Are you aware?
I don't know if I want to ask.
All right, cool, got you. So it's when you can kind of give him one of those. See, he doesn't like that. But if you want to not get noogied, then you can go over to brandedbills.com. You promo code PHNX for 20% off your first order. You can put a little lid on that hat and on that head, and then you can just avoid getting a little knuckle rub right there. But yeah, brandedbills.com. Promo code PHNX, 20% off. It is fantastic. All the different things you can get. You got 2 hats right behind me. The ASU hat, and I guess there's a U of A hat too. But so many different things that you can enjoy with our friends over at Branded Bills. They got the Arizona state flag. They have all different types of styles, trucker hats, brim hats, the nice little comfy band where your forehead goes. It's fantastic. Again, brandonbills.com, promo code PHNX for 20% off your first order. And listen, I know I noogied you, but let me take it down. Let me take a little slow for our friends over at Circle K. Circle K, where you can get
I'll have a Polar Pop, thanks, Max.
Delicious, refreshing, exquisite Polar Pop. And you can go in.
Hang on a minute.
You can go in.
Let me just wind you up.
You can go into your local Circle K and get a nice little discounted Polar Pop, especially if you are an Inner Circle member. You can save 25 cents off per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. All you have to do is sign up for free. Download the Circle K app. Use that phone number. You get all types of discounts and freebies and great stuff. And again, also just they're being great people. I filled up my water bottle. Go into Circle K, free ice and water. That's just nice. They're being good community people. It's what they do. Yes, check out Circle K and their Inner Circle program. Terms and conditions do apply. See participating locations for details. Go on in, get that Polar Pop, save that money, have a good time. Let's see. Benedito's Bluebird with a very fair question. No. I got a great haircut. It was done by Brand Redacted Barber. No, I just like Brandon Bills. It's a great cap. I have several myself, and I look good. Yeah, what's up? Yeah. Hear anything? You got that?
Sounded quite hollow.
That's fair.
Yeah.
What about? Okay. All right.
No. Don't trust you anymore.
That's fair. Yeah, I don't know when you ever started. All right.
That's true. That is true.
The feeling is mutual. All right. Well, let's take a look at this matchup against Orange County.
County.
And I don't know if you realize this, but they're currently being managed by someone who has rising ties. And not just at one point in history, but dare I say at one point this season.
Oh, are they really?
Does the name Danny Stone ring a bell to you?
Can you tell me who he is, man?
Yeah, he started off the season as a Phoenix Rising manager.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's not. And now he is managing Orange County.
Yeah, makes sense that,
Yeah.
Yeah, no. All right, we got to drop that one. Right, Danny Stone obviously went over there as an assistant coach. He was the first assistant and then took over with the departure of their manager over there. So it's been a really chaotic season for Orange County.
When is it not? It was last year, even more so.
No, it's worse.
What do you mean they plummeted, won one of their first 8 games, and then they turned it around, finished mid-table.
Yeah, but this team is not good. They're not good. That's a key part to this. They're not good.
I mean, that's very fair. Listen, they're not good. And if you're looking at how they rank, out of all league teams, in a best case scenario, they're middle of the bottom end. But most of the categories, they are either last or near last. Here we go. Courtesy of Stat Accuracy's attacking stats, goals, 28 goals, 18th in the league. XG, 20.71. So at least they are, hey, there's a hanging in a rafters moment for you. You are pretty much equal for your goals and your XG. But XG is 23rd in the league, second from last. Shots on target, dead last, 87. Total shots overall, 251, dead last. Possession, 47%. 19th in the league. Defensively, you think maybe they're doing better. No, they're not. Goals allowed, 42. Again, 28 goals for, 42 goals against. XG allowed, 48. So, hey, your keeper standing on your head. There you go. 21st in the league. Shots on target, 153 allowed, 21st in the league. And total shots allowed, 417.
Yeah, they're not
22nd in the league. It's not great. I mean, listen, you can talk about this from the team perspective, but they do have a couple notable players. Am I right?
Yeah. Go on then, Max. Tell me about him. Tell me about him, Max. Tell me.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do. Kevin already saying don't jinx it. There's other jinxes that we'll get onto a little bit later. But also hit a like while we say some stats. But Colin Shuttler, 32 goals conceded between the sticks off a 38.31 XG faced. Okay, so could be worse. He's kind of overperforming there. Ethan Zubak, 6 goals scored off of 7.2. That'd be crazy. 7.22 XG. And then I think it's 16 shots on target. I don't know. Reese's stuff got cut off again. Reese is really dropping the ball, just like dropping the hot dogs. In recent matches,
but he didn't drop those hot dogs. That's the problem.
That's true. You know dropped them out of his little hands when he gave up. Dropped them out of his mouth when he spit in the trash can. But that's only for diehards. Last 8 matches, Not great. 1 win, 2 draws, 5 losses, 3 goals for, and move your cursor, he's 14 goals against, off of 8.73 XG for, 15.94 XG against. It's not great. 3 goals for and 14 goals against in your last 8 matches. Not great. That's really pitiful. And again, under Danny Stone, right? Kind of we don't know what to expect yet. In their 3 matches with him at the helm, 1 win, 1 draw, 1 loss, 3 goals for, 3 goals against. And XG, about where it is. XG against, overperforming, keepers standing on its head. They essentially should be allowing double the goals that they're facing. It is a bit of an uneven performance. And without even dissecting those scores a little bit further, Owen, what have you seen?
What have I seen from
Danny Stone?
Danny Stone over there?
Yeah.
I mean, it's early. It's early doors, I still think, with him over there. That's the key thing. It's not been long. These things take time, especially being an interim. It's not easy. Think about how long it took Diego.
It's true.
To start getting things to kind of click a little bit more like he was hoping for, right? So I don't think there's a whole lot that you can necessarily pick in the early exchanges there. I mean, don't get me wrong. They did have the 0-0 draw against Monterey Bay was not great. The win over Orange County was good. Okay, so...
Which Orange County?
Oh my gosh, sorry. The win over Rhode Island. Now I'm tripping myself up with talking about Orange County. The win over Rhode Island was a good win in the sense of it's a good result, right? Orange County, they needed that win, really. And Rhode Island, a team that are in playoff contention in the East, again, it's a good team to pick points up against. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's too easy too early to really find any real things from Danny's performance there. I will say to the comments there on his flood at OC, yes, he is. He was not able to play in the last meeting of these 2 sides because he's alone, so he's not going to be able to play in the meeting between these sides this time either. So just bear that one in mind. He has been playing there, but he will not be able to play for this upcoming game.
Okay. That's fair. Well, I mean, listen, we can give our perspective on Danny Stone, but we're not the only ones. You actually had a little chatsy with interim head coach Diego Gómez, and you can maybe we should play a little clip. Hear his thoughts.
Well, listen.
I think it's more difficult because Danny is going to be the coach in the league that knows the better those players' weakness and those players' strengths. It's not going to be. We're not going to face a team that they know as good as Danny, the players as he does, so he can take advantage of that. So I think that's a small advantage that they have, but for us doesn't change much in the sense like we need to prepare for what we have seen of them and try to go for the game, knowing that it's gonna be difficult.
I mean, listen, there's that familiarity that you may have, even though there are different players. I mean, I'll put it to you this way, and I'll ask the question. Do you think that helps or hurts Rising, knowing that the familiarity goes both ways?
Help or hurt Rising? Hurt more than help. Because familiarity goes both ways. In a lot of ways that are different in terms of what they can say about Danny. Danny may well play differently with different players. Danny may well play, the individual players are still the same people, right? Their weaknesses, their strengths, those are things that Danny will know very well. That's me. One other guy, I think we should probably bring this up because in their struggles, right, he hasn't played. He only made his first start since June, the start of June, in their last game against Monterey Bay. But Thomas Ángel getting back in there, and he's a dangerous player up top. So that's someone who I think is just worthwhile noting again, as we move slightly off of the Danny Stone topic there. Made his first start under Danny Stone in that game against Monterey Bay. When he gets going, he can be a dangerous player. He did score 5 goals in those first few match weeks there. So, I mean, he's someone who Rising fans know about as well, right? For the way that he's played for different clubs in the West over the years. And he can definitely be a dangerous one if they can find ways to use him well in there.
Look at Devonall with the stats, honestly, kind of doing one over the double over the stat lackey. Flood has averaged 67 minutes playing for Orange County. He played the full 99 times in 89 minutes one time. No goals or assists yet for him. Devonall, we might have a spot for you, man. No. Take over what stat lackey's doing. Go, you learn from Owain directly. All right. I think I tend to agree with you that I think there is a bit of that, like if you're going to give the psychological edge or, does that familiarity hurt or help Rising? It probably, right, to your point, they maybe don't know all of the players as well, whereas Danny does have the knowledge of those individual players that they coached. But we'll see, man. Like, do you think that there's going to be, here's the other thing, and this is the part you can't measure, might be a bit of that revenge factor. And you
maybe.
I don't know, man. You could say it's another game. I don't know if it is.
I understand that.
Even if it's
here's what I'll say. The players aren't going to be out looking for revenge.
I'm not talking about the players.
Yeah, well, neither of the players on Orange County's side. So what does that make any difference then? Because Danny Stone ain't going out to nod it in himself. I think the bigger motivating factor right now is that Orange County.
You want to win one for your manager. You can't discount that. Don't discount that.
I don't think that's always true. These players are professionals.
No one's saying they're not, but that's a little extra.
How many people necessarily always come to work and think that their boss's personal grudges, if they exist,
I have personal grudges against people I work with all the time. It's different.
Wow, Max.
Whoa. Hey,
whoa. Max is getting called into a meeting tomorrow morning. But
no.
All right, but when you look at it, I just don't know if it'll play that much into it again because it's the manager there more than anything. I think the other thing about it, maybe you could spin that into something more if this game wasn't as consequential, but it's so obviously consequential to the end of season outcomes for both of these clubs that I don't think that has to play into it at all. I don't think it has to. If you're Orange County and looking at this, a win in that game really massively boosts your playoff chances. Okay? Equally, a loss is not doing great at that point. This has to be circled down for Orange County as one of the winnable games left on their fixture list.
Let's take a look one more time at that table. Yeah. Let's do that while we're talking through it again. You're looking at where they are.
4 points back, right?
That's a swing. That's what we call a swing in the industry.
Yeah, so if they win this game, right, things are getting closer again. Okay, and it pushes them further away as well. Remember, they're looking down as well. They're looking at Tulsa. They're looking at San Antonio. They're looking at Monterey Bay. All three of those teams, 1 or 2 points behind them. They need a win. They need to find ways to get points in their home games, and especially in home games against teams at the lower end of the table. So I think that is the overriding motivation here more than anything else.
Yeah. You can call this game a bust because there's a lot riding on it. All right, let's you like that one,
Max? That was terrible.
No free ads. Let's take a look.
That was awful.
Right? We already got Fat Kid with the Rising losing by 5 goals. Let's throw out. Let's get those score predictions. Owain, start us off. All right,
1-1.
Oh, who's scoring for Rising?
For Rising,
yeah,
I'm gonna go Jearl Margaritha gets the goal, and Thomas and Mang's gonna. You're gonna think Rising are gonna go 1-0 up. Rising are gonna go 1-0 up, and you're gonna think they're gonna get it done in the second half. Thomas and Mang's gonna get his first goal back.
Okay, we got
for months.
We got Stat Like Your Reese 0-0. Kevin 1-1. Mr. Kyle Cooper, what say you?
Give me 1-0 Rising.
Okay. Dude. So here, by the way, for the people who aren't aware of this, Kyle's not coming on the weekend.
Yeah, I was actually gonna say that toward the end, but
no, I'm putting it out there.
Yeah, you know what? Keep on sending in those score predictions, and we will get back to reading them. But you know what? We're putting Kyle on trial immediately. Kyle, put your face on the camera, and I want you to look the people in the eye, and you tell them that you are Rising has won every single game since you started showing up here. And what are you doing? You're not showing up. What do you have to tell the people?
I'll be there in spirit.
No,
that's not real.
Spirit don't matter.
It'll be real.
Kyle.
My spirit is powerful.
We're not mad. We're disappointed. Actually, we're pissed. That's unbelievable, Kyle. Wow. Well, anyway, let's get back. Right, we got 0-0. Again, for Reese, already mentioned that. Devon all in the chat 3-0 to Phoenix Rising. Banditos Bluebird 1-0. Tomás Ángel. That is exactly what I'm going with, verbatim. 1-0. And I think they find it relatively early, and this becomes a gross match. Tomás Ángel, he bags his first open play goal for Phoenix Rising. Devon all in the chat. It's got Wyke, Charlie Dennis, and Jearl. That's a combo, if I ever saw them. Yes, Kevin, yes, this is a thing. Oh, the home streak may end.
Probably also because they're playing a better team at home as well, but, that are on good form, but
yeah, it's
to be fair, I'll put that one out there. In Kyle's defense, he's picking this, I think, in such a way that he can probably keep the streak going by not going to the game that they feel more likely to lose in and probably coming out to Monterey Bay instead when the odds are more in Rising's favor.
He makes a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, you're copping out, Kyle. Let's see. Devon all saying I got to meet Kyle after the game. You can too. Next Rising home games that he decides to show up at.
Excuse me, Mr. Simpson. Are you coming on the weekend?
All right, on the other side, on the other side of the break, we'll go out there a couple around the USL, some scores, and a little more Rising updates. But first we must tell you about the one, the only. Actually, it's not the one, the only. It's one of two Valley Taproom locations over on the east side in Chandler, in Gilbert and in Queen Creek.
You'll get the city right eventually. We've only been partners with them
We
for a
will.
while.
Chandler's kind of right in the middle of the two. You can go to Chandler. If you're in Chandler,
right? Don't trust Max's geography.
If you're in Chandler,
right?
yeah, I used to live in Chandler. I guess, you're right.
He's had a few too many beers at Valley Taproom, and he can't work himself out of the map anymore.
Upon further evaluation, Chandler is west of both of those. My bad.
Yes, it is.
Yes, but you can go to Gilbert or Queen Creek, two great Valley Taproom locations. And again, Queen Creek location, it's nice, it's spacious. But Owain, if you would remind everyone, and I do mean everyone in the room,
about what happened when we went to Valley Taproom.
Yeah, what happened there?
Spain saved football.
Yes. Who did they defeat?
England, didn't they?
You're darn right they did. And you can watch that too over at Valley Taproom. There are two locations. Check them out at valleytaproom.com. And of course, find them on socials at Valley Taproom. Oh, yeah. We love Valley Taproom. It's a good time. It always is. Also, got to shout out the diehards in the chat, of which
you know what you haven't done for the diehards today? You haven't caught food in your mouth.
Dude, we even talked about this too.
You didn't do it.
I forgive Kyle. That's okay.
You didn't do it today, Max.
I forgive Kyle. Well,
Max, this is your thing.
Whoa, it's our thing.
What do you want to catch, Max?
Go get the cherry sours, Reese. Yeah, Reese is good. Well, listen, there's many diehards in the chat, and we appreciate you guys being a part of what we're doing. Again, if you want to become a diehard, you got to go phnx.com, become a diehard today, get a free shirt. Just like the one I'm wearing, or just like the one he's wearing. You can get both if you want. You get discounts on additional merch as well, right? This was such a great time. Rise to the Top.
Can't find it.
Rise to the Top. All right, we'll get one. Rise to the Top champion shirt. It was a beautiful time. You can even get a D-back shirt, PHNX D-back shirt, which, hopefully they do not blow it. But yes, check it out. Go phnx.com. Diehard membership, exclusive merch, and all that great stuff. Oh, boy. All right, Kyle.
Here he goes.
Let's see. Oh boy, Kyle, my fantasy football team is declining, but Rising
one of these days,
rising.
Max is actually going to choke on the podcast, I feel. This is a real race.
Is this the day? Not today. Not today. Not today. That's good. All right. So, let's, that's a good one. By the way, those Circle K. What's the official name of it? Cherry Sours?
Cherry Sours.
Circle K Cherry Sours. Absolutely phenomenal. My word. Owen's getting them too. Show the people. Show the people. Can you feed me one like a...
No.
Okay. All right. Let me try. We try. Let's go around USL. Some scores from the weekend. As producer Kyle is shuffling, he's about to click the button. Here we go. All right, cool. So
pretty much everything went Rising's way.
Pretty much. Yeah, we got. Oh, you know what? I'm going to do my own voice. Harvard Leg 2.
You can't do it.
Harvard Leg 2. Oaken Roots 0. All I already hate this. Owen, go back to
booed by the stat lackey.
His opinion doesn't matter to me. Can't even
we don't need to
three
read
hot
them like
dogs.
that. There are only 3 results that came in after the last time that we discussed these. Detroit City beat Louisville City 2-1 at Keyworth. New Mexico United, there was an early on goal in that match, and they won 1-0 against Loudoun United to help bolster their hopes of finishing first in the Western Conference. Meanwhile, Birmingham Legion winning 1-0 against Miami FC. So, there you go. There were a lot of other results as well that happened. We discussed them a little bit on Saturday. But the key thing, really, the overwhelming trend was that the results were good for Rising.
Yeah, that was...
Max is getting questions in the chat, but we're going to ignore them for now.
Yeah, that's a bot, I think. Might as well.
That's one of your colleagues, Max.
Might as well be.
That's a very mean thing to say.
I don't weight all my colleagues' opinions all that highly.
Who also works here. I mean, that's mean. That's mean. I think you need to apologize.
Anyway, yes, everything went in Rising's favor for the most part. And, there's also something happening on Rising from the internal side of things. Got a little bit of news, Mr. Owen.
Yeah, so the club kind of just burying this in a standard web update. But we've been expecting this for a little while, but let's have a little talk about Pablo. And we've got some nice key points to kind of walk through here with you. As we look at some of the things from today's kind of unveiling here of sorts. Dr. Pablo Pritchard, he is now the principal owner at PHNX Rising. What does that mean, Max? What does that mean?
Yeah, what does that... Yeah,
what it means... Well, we'll get into that a little bit later. But for those of you who don't know who Pablo is, he's responsible for a multi-million investment into the club in November of 2022. That one came in. He became the chief executive officer with the team later on in 2023. And outside of football, he is a practicing plastic surgeon. He's based in Scottsdale. You've probably seen him around. He was the guy who came down in the helicopter.
Yeah,
you know the helicopter, and he came out there.
I was aware.
Yeah, so
that's actually a nice little
probably
Easter egg.
vaguely seen him around. But let's move on to some extra
propelling the team
things
to new
on
heights,
here, and just the context of what this really means, right, for him being the principal owner here. As we have a look at US Soccer's guidelines on this, and it comes from the Pro League standards. As we move on to this, and what it means when you're the principal owner, you must own 35% of the team or more. You must be able to bind the team, so that means that you are in a position to make decisions on behalf of the team. Kind of, you got that controlling interest at that point in the team, and it also says that, for example, in here the principal owner must have a net worth of at least $20 million, excluding
money.
The team stake and indeed their personal residence as well. So, yeah, this hasn't come as a surprise, I think, to a good number of people here. There was a lot of talk over the last couple of months, really, about kind of some changes behind the scenes and what this could mean, and a view that Pablo was likely to take on a bigger role with the club. Max is currently looking up his plastic surgery
no free ads, just
website
just
right now. He's a public figure related. This is newsworthy. It's news.
We are not. You can say it. You don't actually.
There's a load of black and white pictures of Pablo on this website as well. Which man had a photo shoot apparently.
He did. He's a handsome man.
But yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, I think, to see where this direction goes. Of course, we're now at a point whereby someone who wasn't a founding owner of this club, at least in the rebrand era, PHNX Rising, is now really someone who has the controlling stake at this point. Now, that hasn't changed from what I can tell at the minute, the current situation in terms of Bill Krause being the club governor and Tim Reister being the alternate governor in this case. But again, and here's the thing, some of you will have known a little bit with the investment that came in, obviously coming in from his investment group in like 2022. There are figures like Bear Fisher at one point served on the board representing them in the earlier days of that. But it's stuff happening.
Stuff is happening. Can I, by the way, can I interest you in a Jerry South?
No, stop trying to feed me, Max.
You want it?
It's weird.
Heck yeah! All right, here we go. Hold on. Sorry, guys.
Why are we doing? Okay, can we get back to the football, Max?
We can. Yeah. Sorry, that was very important. I was actually related.
Is Damon around?
Oh boy, here we go. Get him. Oh, he's actually not here.
Do we want to go off topic and talk about? No. I mean, do we want to get Reese in for this one? Reese, do you want to talk about Arsenal?
Those are words you can't use on television.
what I'm going to say.
He said he can't use those words.
All right, cool. Then he's not involved. All right, Arsenal, not good. Not good. All right, we're in the crazy hour. We're in the weird hour of the PHNX Rising podcast, and let's talk about Arsenal. I mean, right? Devinall is asking, will the new guy, will he buy any plastic Arsenal youth players? I don't know, but there sure were plenty of them, right? Kind of frolicking around on the pitch over the weekend because they're not good. They completely, absolutely messed up a dominant win. Oh no, all this stuff. They're shambles.
Is that people from Wales talking about plastic and they support Liverpool? But all right,
that sounds about right. Oh boy. I'm not gonna touch those comments.
those are things I can say and you probably can't.
No, I'm talking about the comments. Anyway, Arsenal. They're not good. They played dirty as they do. And they played a very unconvincing game. Oh, look at us. We're going to bunker down for 10 minutes and just foul everyone and, all that stuff. So, yeah.
But they came away with a result, didn't they?
That's fair.
In the end, right? Whereas when Spurs go down to 10 men, they play a really expansive style of football.
We
ends up with them getting battered.
First off, we went down.
How many was it? 9?
We went down to 9 men, and that was beautiful and heroic. And we should honestly get 3 points regardless of the scoreline for bravery. You can't put a point value on that.
I mean, brain dead is another word that begins with a B.
Reese Devinall is asking, what are your thoughts on Holland? Do you care to comment?
Again, probably can't comment those words on.
Karma's coming for
Karma is coming for him, says Reese. That's very ominous. That's very ominous.
That's pretty.
That is very ominous.
It's pretty grim. Pretty grim. Yeah, okay. Let's see.
There's no other USL games in midweek now, so it's kind of we talk about them, but I don't think there's any other. I think it's just Rising, isn't it?
That sounds about right. Let's see. Kevin with a geography update.
Still supporting an English club there, Kevin.
Yeah, that's fair. Well, listen, let's actually move on to more important things. Kyle has been sitting on this one for a while. There's a lot of talk around the office about a certain hippo. Right, and we need to ask the people.
What are we doing right now, Max?
Is this hyped? Is this real? Is this important? What do people see it? Because this is all that everyone's talking about.
What is this relevant to anything, Max?
It is important.
What are you pulling us in for?
This is the nonsense hour. This is what we do.
This isn't nonsense. When we do nonsense, it's like real dumb stuff, like Reese is eating hot dogs, or
this doesn't qualify. It's a question for the people.
Not really.
It's a question for the people. Damon. We will get back to Mudang, and we want your thoughts on this. But Damon, perfect timing. We need an opinion on the Man City Arsenal match. Everyone, producer Damon Dog, give it up.
Come on in.
Give it up. Yes, sir.
Honestly, it's just sad, I think, the state of the sport when you have one team not even trying to play football, not even trying to win the match. They just want to go out, play, mixed martial arts, kick about the other team. And it's just, that's classic Arsenal, Arteta terrorism ball. That's just what we've gotten used to at this point. So, it really is quite sad.
Yeah, there we go. And, Reese saying in the chat, Damon embarrassing himself too. Sad to see my fellow Wrexham fans stoop to this level. We do love Wrexham almost as much as we hate Arsenal. Let's see. Kevin Mudang with Saliba on the last goal. That's a nice cut. We like that. Devinall is a big Mudang fan. There we go. And how Cardiff do?
I've already said we don't talk about that because I'm not allowed to say the words that I'd use.
That's okay. Spurs won. It's what we do. So there we go. We're happy.
Really?
Yeah. We're happy. We've played a very dominant team. You don't even know who. Yeah, why don't you look it up, buddy? Yes.
You played Brentford.
Very good Brentford.
At home.
Who beat City twice last season, lest we forget. Yes. Let's see. That's not true. That's just false.
Reese immediately fact-checking him.
Yeah, why don't you do that?
You're talking nonsense.
Why don't you do that? Why don't you do that?
We can get a fact check here, actually. We're going to fact check you on that.
Wow,
Carry on, Max. Keep talking.
Oh, gosh. We're doing this real time.
Keep talking.
I feel confident in it. All right. Yeah. So much going on. I mean, listen, here's a
Yeah, they lost Manila away.
Yeah, well,
They lost both games, Max. What planet are you living on?
the season before, whatever. Not my problem. Anyway,
Did they win both the season before?
Yeah, they did.
that was
That's a
it.
while ago.
Yo, my bad. I got my seasons
Yeah.
wrong. That's okay.
Ages ago.
Either the seasons. Arsenal choked. Anyway,
Tottenham do.
well, that's different. We didn't blow it. So there we go.
Congrats.
This is terrible audio because the people can't hear Reese's side.
yeah. Listen, hot dog guy. Either you say something or you don't on the pod. Exactly. You pipe down over there. All right. Yes. So,
Max is throwing cherry sours at Reese, and
I caught it.
Reese.
Bro, yeah.
Yeah, well, you can hit it anyway. All right, let's see.
All right, that's it.
Mudang is Diego Costa. Who is Mudang represent as a player? Owen, what say you?
No, I'm not doing this.
Okay, let me try to rephrase it differently. That right there, when you look at that face, if you're trying to defend that off a corner kick inside the penalty box, who are you facing up against? That's tough. That's
no,
tough.
I'm
That's
not
the
doing
next
this.
Cardiff manager. That's what they want. That's what Kevin wants in the
No.
chat. What say you, Kyle?
No, Kevin is saying Big Sam next Cardiff manager. Actually, you got to read the comments in full. That would be terrible. Please no.
That's not great. Kyle, who do you think Mudang speaks out to you?
Maguire.
Oh wow, that's not bad.
Mudang, Maguire.
Oh dear gosh. All right. Yeah, we've hit the nonsense. We appreciate
That's enough of that nonsense.
all the fun stuff. What I will say, right, is here's the thing about tomorrow. It does make it a little bit interesting. So first off, right, from a programming note for the people, right, we will be doing the post game tomorrow after the match ends, whenever
Correct.
it ends. Take our time, and then Saturday we will be back at it.
Correct.
Yep. No.
I will be.
Well, yeah, I will be too.
Mr. Vacations is gone again.
Okay, we don't have to just tell the people.
Mr. Vacations.
Maybe
Mr. Vacations.
maybe you should ask where I'm going.
Where are you going, Max?
I'm going to Seattle. Scouting out the competition.
So when are Rising playing up there then, Max?
The Open Cup.
That was... Well, you know what, mate? Oh, man. You are... Oh, would you look at the time...
Yeah.
You were only 4 months late.
I think it's still relevant.
4 months late.
No, I think it's you don't know how it happens. It's semantics.
Almost as late as the average Arsenal tackle.
Got him. Love
Sorry, Reese.
that.
That was low-hanging fruit sitting there.
Dirty.
I'm sorry, Reese. That was low-hanging fruit and I had to take it.
That was low hanging fruit. Yes. So I will not be reviewing Good Hands with Owen and TBD co-host. Yes, there we go.
We'll see.
We do have some rumors. Here, Kyle. Kyle's co-hosting. You're producing, right, Kyle? Yeah.
Yeah.
See, there's the confidence. Yeah. Well, yeah. So join us tomorrow. Join us on Saturday. And then, it's going to be interesting to see how this team moves forward. There's a lot of, I don't know, man, tomorrow feels pretty pivotal. And all these matches feel pretty pivotal. But I don't want to be 1 point above 8th. That's scary.
We'll see.
Why don't you give me some call? Give me some solace to the people. Can you save them? Give them some hope. Give them some optimism.
No.
Something to believe in.
How am I the
Yeah,
one
that's
who
not
makes
really
people
you.
believe in
All right, here we
things?
go. All right. Camera right here. All right, here we go. Yeah. Oh, it's already there.
It's where it always has been, Max.
Yeah.
Go
All
on.
right, here
Go
we
on.
go.
Go for it. Go on.
What's worse going to happen? You're going to lose?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
That's the worst.
Yeah, that's probably not great.
I mean, it could be worse.
Well, it could be worse. Yeah, I mean, don't do
I
that.
mean, a critical player could get injured.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want you, Phoenix Rising, I want you to do this.
Points
Don't
deduction.
concede. Don't concede any goals and try to score at least one.
Wow, Max. Have you ever considered taking up a managerial career? Because you've got this, mate. You've got this
I would like to.
Right.
I'm not ready to leave
the
the
last
pitch.
thing you say to the boys
The
is
goal
go
move
out there
Still there.
and score more than they did.
That's all I'm asking.
Wow.
That's all I'm asking. It's all that is my helpful suggestion of the day.
Genius.
I mean, some
How do you come up with that one, Max?
The wonderkin, what can I say? Some are saying it.
All right, Mr. Simpson, let's wrap it up.
Yeah, I think so at this point.
It's time. Wrap it up.
wrap you up. Well, appreciate everyone joining us. This has been the PHNX Rising Podcast. Of course, you can follow us on Twitter, on no, that's actually pretty much the only platform we're on, at PHNX __ rising. There are 2 underscores. I cannot understate that enough. PHNX, it's an underscore and followed by a second underscore
Double
with rising.
Hold on. That's
double
enough
the
max now.
unders-
Double the
underscore.
underscores, double the max vacations.
You really wanted to get that one out, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I mean, you know, what can I say? I can't travel to every away game like I usually do. Want more travel over the podcast. You know how it is. We know who the hard worker is. Thank you. You can follow me on Twitter at MaxDavidSimpson. You can follow Mr. Everyday Off at OJEvans18.
You're going to start throwing these at him if he's not careful.
You can follow the Glizzy. You completely missed. You can stop it. You can stop. No throwing. You can follow the what do we say? The
Glizzy
no,
guzzler.
the sausage
spewer.
The sausage spewer at
That's
Reese.
the one.
At Reese. At Reese11 underscore. You can follow.
We're gonna have to pick these up.
You can follow you can follow Kyle Cooper at KCoop Sports. He will not be happy that you're throwing all these things. Remember, everyone, it's gonna get better.
Yeah.
Until it gets worse. Hopefully
Or it
not.
could get
It's a
worse.
beautiful game, but it's way more beautiful when Phoenix Rising go to Orange County and say, "Let's win it." Okay. Good night.
We all silly like the mayor.